Imagine that's what you're. Okay, go ahead. Oh.
What is wrong with you? I can't even do a proper. You got Yosi trying to jump through screens and perform some activities.
I prefer to do some.
You prefer to do it.
Let's not go into depth with that.
Okay. Welcome back to Deacon Chatter Podcast with yours truly, Yosi Belai, Nahom, Mr. Musse, and Matt. Why did I say Mr.? Why'd you make your name Mr. Musse? I just realized that. I actually said it. Too. That's the thing.
Mr.
Mr. Musse. Hey, Matios. Nahom. Oh, Yosi.
That's cringe.
Okay.
Where is this going?
Okay.
It's been a while. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks, God.
No.
Matthew, please.
No.
All right, if you iterate, Matthew.
I'll stop.
So, we can do this today. Matthew and Musse, you guys automatically go on mute. It's like, now I'm playing.
That's so tough.
I can have them on mute. Yeah.
Okay, it's because I don't use wires, so I miss
Stop.
No. We can hear you.
Stop. Thank you.
We can hear you. Trust me.
Sure.
All right. It'll stay down.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I'm second on. But is she? Okay.
No problem.
I was talking to Matthew, but Yosi, thank you for your no problem too.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
All right. Hey. All right.
Okay.
But this is part 2 for deacons and why deacons leave the church, and not even leave, but like just the problem in North America with deacons, and why there are an abundance of deacons, but at the same time an abundance of quitters at the position. Not at position, but you know what I'm saying. But we left off last time, and it's been a month, I think, at that time. Y'all killed it. We hit 336 views, and we never recorded part 2 that weekend. So
yeah.
But we left off talking about our diaconal stories. We got carried away. We got carried away about talking about our diaconal stories, going to Macbeth, stuff like that. So today, let's get back on topic and go into detail on the certain things that really take away from being a deacon, like why people stop being a deacon, what distracts deacons, and so on. So I've said too much. I'm gonna let Yosi start it off because he's the oldest. So yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Like, okay. I don't know. There's a lot.
You set him up for failure.
Yeah.
Pick one. I meant to say pick one and then kind of talk about it, and we'll like discuss it too.
Okay, so I feel like we can start with girls because I feel like that's like a very big topic that we can discuss on. There really isn't. I don't know. There, like on black and white, it says like, don't have sex, otherwise you lose it. But I feel like that leaves a lot of room for gray area. I don't know. Y'all chime in and
then. Yeah, he's got a point. I mean, I think as a deacon, I've heard more from deacons of like what is considered sex, what isn't. I've definitely heard that way more from deacons.
Yeah,
than like who aren't. I could say that for a fact. And I feel like it's the fact that like if you have to question it, like if does this count, then like we shouldn't do it at all, basically.
Yeah,
it probably does.
And then I also
what
was I gonna say? I think I don't know. I was talking to like some other people, and like they were like girls. Like I felt like personally, it should wait like until you have the like mental capability of making the right judgment. Because I know like me and Musse, like we're not like compared to Nahom and Yosi, like we're slick kids. We might not make the smartest decision when it comes to like XYZ. So
hey.
No. I'll speak for both of us.
It's like, nah, you got a point.
I know I do. I do. But what's it called? The point, like, I mean, you can pit it off. Like, is it like you have to ask yourself, like, is a relationship with a girl like really necessary at like 15 to 17? Like, if you can pit it off, like, why rush it?
Yeah.
That's how I think. Unless you're like certain that girl is like the one, yeah, then like why jump into it? and lead yourself down like to more temptation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I agree with that.
I think
everyone nowadays
think-
are kind of.
My bad.
Go ahead.
No, my bad. It's just I think that what Matthew said is exactly true. Even more so, if it's the one, then like there's no need to rush because you know that you're gonna end up with that person. So might as well just wait. Like there's no reason to rush it. Is my opinion, because I completely agree with what Matthew said.
Well, with Matthew said, everyone's different at different times. Like, some people are emotionally stable, emotionally stable at the age of 16. Some aren't until 21. Like, it just depends on who you are and it depends on person to person. It varies. Not the same person has the same, capabilities as the other. So the thing with the like waiting to see if that's the one, well, like not everyone's gonna wait, and not everyone is gonna, just wait. And I think we're getting to like relationship stuff at this point, but like, kind of like cap it off with like kind of going back to Deacons is like not girls, but like relationships, because we can't just blame it on the gender, but like relationships in general, it's kind of like if you can handle it, you can handle it. Like Gomez, like if you can handle church, girls relationship, school environment, that's perfect. But like not everyone has the mental capabilities, emotional capabilities, and just like the time management to do all three at the same time. So like it's more about like and getting distracted and getting to like sexual things and stuff like that, in which you technically we're supposed to wait till marriage. So like
And
I
also like just I think a nice way to like I don't know close this is to reiterate what Musse said, which is if you have to ask or if you have second what's it called?
Second guess.
Yeah. When you of what you're doing, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Plus, there's always that little voice in your head that's like, shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. In fact, actually, I remember seeing this somewhere. It was like a quote that said basically like in the Bible, there's no dating. It says either your siblings, like that's your brother or sister through Christ, or that's your wife or husband, right? And so it was kind of basically saying like, until you're married, you're kissing, you're having sex with your whatever with your sibling. Like think about it in that type of like perspective. Like that's basically what you do. And then I was like, you know what? That's nasty. And I was like, yeah.
Because I was gonna say, if I think of you as my sister up until I put a ring on it, I'm probably not gonna want to put a ring on it.
No, but I'm like,
was that Old Testament?
Exaggerative.
Probably.
Low key, like I'm not gonna sit here and say like, I've heard before like we're not supposed to take everything the Bible says literally, like down to the exact thing. So like
there's some parts.
Obviously, like back in the day, like they were just getting married, like they were getting married to their siblings, low key. Like they were getting married. Wasn't Sarah and Abraham like related? I forget. I don't know.
There's way worse.
I've heard stuff of Moses doing something with his sons. Like like there's a lot of things the Bible like talks about that we're not supposed to literally be getting into like talk like believing it literally, but it's just not reasonable at like this time and age to like just ring on your finger right now. Like it wouldn't work. You were getting to know people, dating, the whole process. Dating is dangerous though because of the certain like what's the word?
Temptations
that come along with it. Yeah. So like if you and your girl or boy, whatever you're into, can make it work. Oh God.
Wow.
If y'all can make it work, like it's it's fine. But yeah. Fuck situation. Not situation. Relationships. I keep saying girls. Yosi said girls to start off the topic, and I just keep saying it. What's it called?
Well, I don't think Deacons would be in a relationship with guys.
Yeah, but it's like, are you really generalizing? I don't want to get into that.
Yes, I'm generalizing. Deacons can only be with girls.
But, okay. Yosi said girls. I guess I'm gonna bring up drugs and influences and stuff like that, and we can kind of tie it back into relationships in a way where, like, first of all, like, since Deacons are getting their Deacon before they're in high school or before they even come into contact with drugs and have the opportunity to say no before they're a deacon, some of these kids are getting their Deacon at 12 and 11, and then like they get into high school and they're like, yo, like weed's cool, like where's the blow? Like, have you seen that meme? Yeah, I don't know if y'all seen the meme, but they see the drugs and they get tempted to take drugs, stuff like that. And it's kind of like, well, if you're on a deacon, it's one thing, but you are. The fire is, we said in the last episode, the fire is hotter for deacons, or it's warmer, whatever we said. So, like, it's kind of like, yeah, like, what are you doing? You know? So, someone want to continue off that? Piggyback off that?
I'll go. I'll just tell if I'm being open, like I've been offered drugs in my school, and it's hard to say no. Like it's always that thought, like what is it like? Like what's the hype about? But like you have to have that certain, not just the deacons, but in general, like that self control. Like this is not right. Like say no, and like I'm not gonna come at anybody. Like we know people who like have fallen into temptation, but there's ways to bounce back from that. Like to quit, talk to your confessional father and stuff. But like it's hard to say no. I'm gonna be honest. Like it was hard to say no because I was thinking like what is it like? Like what's the hype about it? One time can't hurt. But I thought about it like one time it's gonna turn into two, 3, 6, and keep going, and it's just gonna become like the wrong place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, and I remember I think I said in the last episode, but as deacons, you're being tempted way harder than other people. So that voice that we said before, that's always telling you like, it's not okay. Like that voice may not be there. Like you have to use your own self-conscious and say no to that.
Yeah, it's difficult. Keep going, Musse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've even been offered some by like deacons. Like I know I've, like a few deacons have even offered me like, yo, you want to like some weed or you want to get like drunk, whatever. And I was just like, the situations itself are kind of like, I will say the number one thing that I'm pretty sure runs through all of our minds is kind of like one time won't hurt, like Matthew was saying. But it's kind of when you think of like who you are, like what you represent, basically like what you're gonna do at the end of the week, like where you're going, what you're preparing, like who you're preparing it for and stuff like that. You kind of just like, you can't,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much my say on it, just try not to. But like, oh yeah, like Matthew said, we're not here like to judge anyone, but kind of just like, if you know that you're struggling with it, don't sit here and like just let it happen. Like try and like bounce back from it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you see other people, oh, okay, they're deacon, they're doing it too. It's fine.
Nahom or Yosi, you want to chime in?
Sure. I agree. I think it's safe to say that everyone's been offered, at least once in their lifetime. I think one thing that's a misconception is like, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that because you're a deacon. But if you really think about it, the stuff that deacons aren't allowed to do, no one's allowed to do. No one's supposed to have no one's supposed to have sex before marriage. No one's supposed to get drunk. No one's supposed to do drugs. I think that the difference is that from the general public, deacons were chosen by God to represent God. So I think when you do those, and you're also in the public eye, like little celebrities, because like think about it, like if Beyonce trips down the stairs, everyone's gonna know about it. It's kind of like that. Like if someone sees a deacon messing up, then by next Sunday you're the talk of the town. Everybody knows about it. And I'm not saying don't do it. Oh, because the church is gonna find out, whatever. But whether you like it or not, as a deacon, you represent that church more so you represent God. So, I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much my take on it because you guys pretty much hit all the other points. I just want to put that out there. That's pretty much it.
Oh wait, Nahom, do you have anything to say? Because I was gonna like lead into another point.
So, I guess my take on that is I would just kind of piggyback over what Yosi said, which is, if as much as it sucks that like it's without experiencing all of these things, without going through, your growing process, that all of this is just kind of it's just it's a blessing in disguise, really. Honestly, the way I see it, which is the reason why is because you get so many blessings out of there's so many good that we get out of being a deacon that isn't necessarily talked about. Besides, having the ability to serve and all that good stuff, just you have just as much as like hell is hotter for deacons whenever they mess up. It's just twice as better whenever you follow through, and that doesn't mean being perfect, but rather doing your best in every process. Actually, today in today's gospel, I was in Mehla earlier, and one of the gospel that was read today was of the woman that gave 10 cents in the temple, and she only had 10 cents. And of all the people, Jesus said, of all the people that gave the tithe that day, that gave money, hers was the greatest because she gave what she had. And that's all that's expected of us, of deacons, really, to give all that we have. And that is what is expected of us. And so giving up these things, it's not just for nothing, I guess, to just kind of give all of us kind of some kind of consolation, I guess. We're not just doing this for nothing. There is a greater payoff in the end. So right now, if we kind of try our best, if we fall, that's okay. We just got to come back up. But we just have to try our best to just kind of stick to that if we are in that situation where we have been ordained without like our consent, really, honestly. I guess that's what my take would be on that.
Okay. So you said you had to tie it into something.
Oh yeah. So Yosi was talking about how like Beyonce falls, everyone knows about it, everyone's talking about it. So I was kind of gonna say like personally, from like witnessing, I wouldn't say as much as experience, but from like watching my friends, like my like deacon brothers, I will say another reason I could say would definitely like contribute to deacons, definitely like I guess being further and further away from the church is the whole like Habesha mindset or like the gossip. Because like you got like we can think of 3 people at the top of our head, like boom, like something happened, canceled, or like not even canceled, but like something happened and then boom, like they found out about it. He was, oh, a deacon did this, so he did that, whatever. And it's kind of like I will say, I'm not saying we don't deserve it or like we are always right or like perfect, but like no one really deserves to be put on blast like that, especially with Habeshas where like one person could know one thing in one state, next day the whole country knows. So it's kind of like I would say it does be like messing with our motivation sometimes. And if anyone wants to like piggyback on that.
Yeah, nah, like I'm just like stuff people like Andala Cacho, for example, like stuff like that, where we already know about the infamous UOTY stuff, like putting deacons on blast, threatening like to expose, like not even expose, but like put out videos and pictures and stuff like that of people. One, that's not okay. Like honestly, that's not the way to go about like I guess teaching or like
helping.
Yeah, like helping or correcting people. Like it's one thing if you go directly to somebody and be like, yo, like I don't think what you did was right. Constructive criticism goes a long way. Like going to somebody be like, yo, like for example, like Nahom, like I don't like the way you did this. Like, can you please do better? It's different than, yo, like what you did was messed up. You look like this, you're ugly, but like Nahom, like, and then like putting them on blast in front of people. One is gonna help somebody, one is gonna bring them down and like make them not want to try again. So like, the people like another culture, people like even like just like at your church, like just people like that who like go around tearing you down and stuff like that. That has to stop. Like it's not helping anybody. If anything, it's driving people like people who aren't diacons, like kids, to like see that and be like, yo, like I don't want that happening to me. I'm not doing that. Like I'm not gonna become a diacon simply because I don't want to be dragged if I'm not perfect, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. So I was watching, the TikTok thing, I was hearing the stuff he was saying, like, and I commented, I was like, people like him, the indadacachos of every church, let's say that, are the people that make kids quit. Like, I don't know if you heard the part, but he was telling people don't take Korban. Like, who is he to decide to tell people don't take Korban?
Yeah.
Like he's not a priest. He's just a person. Not saying that we're above him, but like that's not his job. That's not anybody's job to put anybody on blast. As brothers, as sisters, our job is to help correct and build up. But there's a right way, like Thomas said, to handle it. Like personally coming with the right attitude, not coming to him and saying like, "Oh yeah, you're messed up for doing this, that, that." Like politely with a loving heart, like correct him and tell him that like what him or her what you did was wrong, instead of like how Indel Cacho's coming, like Thomas said, and going live talking about kids are doing this, deacons are doing this, girls are doing this, like stuff like that makes people leave the church. And not only leave the church, like you don't know their mental health, like you don't know what they're going through, like who knows like what that those words can make them say, not just from Indel Cacho but from anybody. Like being somebody on blast, I have feel like we've all been on blast at one point, but like it hurts. Like it if it's not done the right way, like it hurts. And if somebody isn't like strong enough to like take that and move on, like you don't know what they're gonna do the next day. And I'll leave that there.
Yeah, nah. The one thing before I think Yosi about to say something. One thing I don't like is when people who aren't diakons, who aren't kanas, who aren't in the makdas, try and tell me how to behave in the makdas, or like stuff like that. Like I can remember one time someone was like, "Oh, like when you go inside, like you shouldn't be doing this," or stuff like that. I was like, "Wait, but like how would you know?" How would you know, like type stuff. It's not like like it was a lady too, so I was like, how would you know, like kind of type stuff. I was like, how do you have to tell me what to do inside? If anyone's gonna tell me what to do inside, it's gonna be a fellow deacon. It's gonna be someone who's like a kanas, a priest, like a menokse, like someone on that level is gonna tell me what to do. It's nobody, just a random his was gonna come to me, yo, like we need more, or not we need more, but like next time can you do this? What? Like, who are you to tell me like what? Like, it's different if like they notice something like a dasit, or like if they can see it visibly, but like something that they don't know about, trying to voice an opinion on something they don't have a clue about, kind of pisses me off just a little bit. So
Pisses
Yosi,
me
you
off
continue.
too.
Yeah,
I had a story with that too. Sorry, there was
Yeah.
this guy at my church, and I was first, and it was a normal Sunday, whatever. And then after Gadas, he came up to me, he pulled me to the side, and he was like, "Hey, I noticed you were first today." And I was like, "Yeah,
Not dip.
I was, no shit, But yeah, he legit told me like, next time, can you give me more? Meaning Corban.
Whoa.
Dude, spit on him and kick him. Are you kidding me?
He deserves
I
it.
swear to God, he was like, why was the
Wow.
spoon was half full? What's wrong with you? Like, why'd you give me so little? Like,
He deserves to
what?
be stoned. He deserves to be stoned. I'm
I
sorry.
was like,
What?
Are you serious?
I swear on my mother's life, I was so confused. I was like, I literally told him, I was like, sir, it's literally God. You're lucky to get a drop.
Wait, is this in English? Like that's going on, like conversation?
No,
Oh,
it's an
okay,
American.
okay.
He's like an elder dude, and I was like, sorry, it's literally God. You're lucky to get a drop.
Regardless,
Plus, like
still got
it's
it.
not just you. There are people who can't,
Exactly.
And here you are.
Funny. I don't know. It's like a funny. When I was a kid, like I always thought there's a portion. Otherwise, it'd be like a holy overload. Like I always thought, like that's what I thought. Like if you got too much, like
Holy
you
overload.
disintegrate. Yeah, I
Oh
thought
my
you like
God.
disintegrate.
Holy
I was a
overload.
I was a miskin
Dead.
kid, but that's what I thought. But yeah, I was gonna say, there's a part in Deacon Dawid's book talking about this. He's like, we are their servants, like
Yeah.
the people, we are their servants. But like we said, there's a line where we can serve, like where they can tell us how to serve, because like we said, they aren't inside. They don't know what the processes are between this here and here. Like if it's like a thing like go gets oven, like no matter how rude they are, like you're gonna get it. Like you're not just gonna turn your back. But like if it's like a thing like, oh, what you're doing inside is wrong, like you don't know. like you're not gonna say like out loud, like you don't know, but like you take it and you just kind of like leave it, because then again, like we said, like who are they to tell us how to do our job?
It's one thing, like again, like I said, constructive criticism, like, oh, I heard your Kadasi, like Dimsit or like Desi, but like maybe like next time, like improve. That's one thing. Like, oh, like improvement stuff, like, oh, like telling you maybe what you could improve on is one thing. Like I've had people come up to me after Kadasi, like, yo, like Dimsit and Desi, like like stop, or like maybe like the first couple of times I was doing Kadasi, oh, like work on. I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna work on being afraid, but like kind of like help, like try and figure out like how to stop that, which I appreciate it. Like that's one thing, like constructive criticism. But going up to somebody being like, oh, like like that's a bad Kadasi, or like, oh, like you have to do better next time, or like you shouldn't be doing Kadasi, stuff like that is not necessary. It's not needed. Like it's a waste of breath. Like I don't know why you're talking. Like get out of my face. Like
I also wanted to tie it back to what you were talking about before, like people like in Dalcacho.
yeah.
I also think that I think delivery is key when
Mhm.
you're trying to help someone with their problems or what you perceive as problems, because there are times, even though they're not that common, where something you see as a problem isn't a problem or something like that. But if you see something that's actually a problem, you don't use their problems as a way to get publicity or as a way to get a bigger platform by going on your little social media things and threatening to out someone's issues. I think that when you do it that way, that person might, either be like too scared to leave the house, depending on what it is, or could even, you know, keep doing what they were doing even more in spite of that person. Does that make sense? I think like if I'm doing something that I don't see any problem with, and someone comes up to me and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong with you? You shouldn't be doing that." Da, da, da. I know myself. I would literally be like, "Okay," and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But if it's someone, even someone older than me, someone that's close to me, whatever, if they come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I don't think you should be doing this because XYZ," I would listen to that more than someone who, follows people younger than half his age on their social medias, threatening to expose them, taking their camera to large social gatherings to try and catch deacons in the act or something like that. I just don't think that's helping anyone. If anything, that would make things worse. If he really had a problem, and this isn't me bashing him, it's more of me like giving my opinion on him and people like him. It's just he's the most famous one, but I think if he really had a problem with what these people are doing, he should have used those alleged fake accounts and reached out to them or something like that. And even then, like the fact that his whole situation is mainly based on catching young people doing things that young people do, be it right or wrong, doesn't sit right with me, or I think anyone, if I'm not mistaken. But I think even us, especially as deacons, like there are gonna be times where we run into people where we know that they're doing something wrong. We know that they're doing something they're not supposed to do. And I bet you they even know that they're doing something that they're not supposed to do. And I'd like to think that we're supposed to try and help them. I don't think, and I've seen this also, I don't think it should be coming from a place of like a holier than thou kind of perspective. I think it should be more of, like Thomas said, very constructive, very brotherly, because that's essentially what we are. Instead of saying like, "Hey, you shouldn't do that," it should be more of like "Hey, this is what you're doing, and these are the reasons why what you're doing is wrong."
Yeah.
and just have like a conversation more instead of like a scolding kind of like parent to an undisciplined child kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, I was gonna. Oh wait, Nahom, you wanna go?
No, it was me, but
I
you're
guess-
good. Musse.
Oh, Matthew. Oh, sorry. I was
Better
looking at them.
Nahom, Matthew, then Musse.
All right.
No, it's just one thing. I just want to say one thing about Matthew. What Matthew said earlier about people being hurt, and I feel like that's like a really a theme that I see in our church, that we just become so, whether it be deacons or just other people, we just become so discouraged when people always point out the bad things. And I read this quote by a saint, and he essentially, it was a sermon. It was a Sunday sermon. You guys know how sometimes Sunday sermons run really long, like freaking like an hour, an hour and 30 minutes. And so this sermon, like, surprisingly only took 2 minutes. So essentially what the saint said on a Sunday is, I saw this one woman come into church with jeans with no natala. And then another person scolded her, telling her, you didn't wear the correct attire. And then this woman left. And I tell to that person that did that, you better pray for that person and pray that God saves her in some shape or form, because at this point, I am 90% sure that this person is not going to come back to church. So you better pray like hell that this person comes back. So like, a person might be trying their best, and like coming at them with a negative force, a place of not help. Even if you were to help, like, there's multiple ways, as Yosi said, to go about it. So like, it's very essential that we know our place, A, and B, just know how to go about it. Think about it before we do it. But yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Matt?
Just a quick thing, we're about to cut it, but I don't know, and Del Cacho might see this, I really don't care, but a person who made a brand on bashing people, teaching, and like a whole like fan base on exposing kids, that's to me pathetic. Like, I'll put that out there probably to all, like, that's pathetic. Like, if you're gonna do all this to like gain popularity, like we said, like, it's just wrong. Like, you gain nothing but hurting and driving kids away. And like, I'm willing, like, if he wants to talk about it, shoot, he has me on Facebook, text me. But like, it's like, I don't think it's okay at all. Like, to go, like, in the comments, people were like worshiping him, literally, like, amen, like, amen, God will test it. Like, he didn't teach a single thing. He was just exposing people. And if people see that as teaching, like, what else will they learn from? That's how I see that. Like, what else are they going to consider a teaching? But yeah, Musse, you can go.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure we can all co-sign on what you just said. Like, as a Habesha youth, we can all kind of like co-sign on that. But what I was gonna say was, first I was gonna say, I'm not like 100% in Dalcacho or in Dalcachos of the Habesha community are to blame, right, for these type of things. But I really blame the people that are like backing them up, like you said, like the whole because like, you gotta admit, if you got 0 views, 0 comments, he would not make another video.
No one would ever think about it. Yeah,
and that
no one would notice
back.
it. Yeah.
Like, no one would. No one really would. And to play devil's advocate, I really don't know if if y'all went into like detail about this last time, but I was just gonna say, sometimes, the devil's advocate, sometimes we really don't know. Like, there's a lack of like teaching between deacons, and the whole Dukuna is given to us without being taught the right way. And so then that comes to us. Like, you get it. It's kind of like a cause and effect, where the cause is like the kanats or the papasats giving it to us before we're ready. And I understand some churches, they're in dire need for deacons, but devil's advocate, like, sometimes the kanats give it away way too quick, basically.
Yeah. The last thing I'm gonna say is, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that makes a good episode on itself too. Like,
we could.
what's it? Yeah, We can talk about that later. But yeah,
Part
you can go.
I mean, there's two
It's like, no.
videos that we can talk about: the TikTok and the 2018. Was that 2019? 2019? 2018. One of the summers, 2 years ago, 2 summers ago.
2019, bro. It
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
2K19.
Oh,
I would have to guess.
ASFNA.
Yeah, we can talk about that video. I didn't
Beautiful
count
summer.
2020. I didn't even count this summer. I'm not even gonna lie. No, okay.
No, yeah, I think it was 2018.
But what's it called? One thing I'm gonna say is I think I told Yosi this. Might have told Musse, but inherently, like what he said back in 2019, like what he said wasn't wrong. Like he was right what he was saying. Like at the bear, like when you break it down, he was right. Like Deacon shouldn't have been dancing. And I was like, if y'all saw my comment, I was like, yo, it's summer. They're teenagers. Leave them alone. Like, it's kind of expected that they're going to be doing that kind of stuff. But at the same time, he was right. But the way he came about it was completely wrong. That's what, it's one thing to come about it calmly. Instead of going on Facebook to your yes men, that's what they are, yes men. Called the
screaming in his car.
phenomenon on Facebook. Instead of going to them, going to people, I almost said a name, going to people directly and being like, yo, like, this wasn't right. I peeped this. Instead of recording, I peeped this. I don't think you should be doing this. I'm not going to tell anyone because why would you tell people? Like, go to him directly. And it's because people are more bound to listen to you if you go to them directly. If you post, they're just going to get mad. If Yosi and me were beefing and Yosi posts on Snapchat, I would get more mad. But if Yosi's beefing with me and he comes to me and we hash it out, problems get solved way quicker, than social media clashes. But okay, yeah, that's the next video we're doing at this point because we have a lot to say about that. But
yeah,
we got to record another episode. So part 2 for this is done. I think we've touched on everything. I mean, there's really not much we can talk about on why Deacons leave. Last thing I'm gonna say is, just be prepared if you're getting your dukuna. If you make sure this is what you really want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, make sure it's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I also think just last thing, I promise. I think just to tie it back into that, I think I do think that if you're gonna get it, make sure like you said, make sure you get it. You make sure you want it without taking account any other outside influences. Like, don't just get it because your friends got it, or don't just get it because you want to wear the cool clothes, or you want to go in the secret room. Yeah, don't.
You don't want the clothes.
The clothes is heavy. The clothes is very heavy. Oh my god, especially summer. Anyways,
wash your face after you put on acne. Some of y'all got acne from that. Not gonna lie. Some of y'all be sharing. Some of y'all be sharing acne. Make sure to wash your face after kadase. If you didn't take Cordoban, make sure to wash your face. So
I actually never got acne from acne, but then again, I have a big head, so no one else wears mine.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
I'm talking to 64.
Yeah, so if I okay, I don't have a 64.
All right. On that note, we will end the podcast. Musse, shut up before I mute you. I'm just gonna mute him anyways. Whatever. There we go. All right. Thank you for listening in. Don't unmute. All right, he unmuted. Anyways, podcast on Friday, the 30th, day before Halloween. Please don't go outside. It's Corona and you stay on no, just letting y'all know. So stay inside. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.